So, welcome anybody that's interested. If you're watching this content, then you're probably, like me, you're interested in G-scale trains and model railways and whatnot, but you've also probably seen that they're very expensive. There is a bit of value to be found in these Christmas trains and train sets, and the fact that they're pretty well dirt cheap any time of year outside of Christmas. In fact, they're not that much to buy in general, but what you get is essentially G-scale, so basically a big model railway for, next to nothing. A lot of the time you can buy used sets like this one where you'll get a locomotive, maybe 3 pieces of rolling stock and an oval of track for $30 or $40 on Facebook Marketplace. So yeah, you can find these sets pretty cheap, and we'll go into some detail about the differences and what's available, what to look out for, and yeah, I hope you enjoy. So what we're looking at today, and what I'm generally going to focus on, is the Scientific Toys and eztec brand of model trains, if you want to call them that. And there's a few variances. So there's 2 locomotives available. There's this 260 mogul type locomotive, and it comes usually with a tender, and there's 2 types. And there's also, I think it's a 440 Pacific class engine, and the scale's a little bit different on that. It's a bit more small and doesn't look quite right, but it's still something different. And they come in lots of colour variations as well. Generally the Christmas themed ones are much more abundant. And there's 2 types as well. So what we'll do is we'll just focus on the outside of the engine in this video and just a general overview. I'll do another video where we open it up and have a look at the mechanism and see what's inside. So the one we're looking at today is made by Scientific Toys, which is the original manufacturer, and the way to tell the difference is the ones made by Scientific Toys have an open cab with, in our case, centre and some detail. Also on the rear they have a plug above the coupler, you can see there, and with this one the power comes from the tender, in which you'd put 6 C batteries. That's the older way they're powered, and one issue with that is if you've got all this weight behind you, in the tender, you haven't got much weight on the locomotive, so traction could have been an issue, but they've obviously anticipated this and countered it by installing traction tyres, and regardless of what you think about them, they're very effective. So they're only on their first and last axle there. Yeah, so later on we'll have a look at the actual mechanism, but the front and rear axles are powered and the centre one is not, but it's along for the ride anyway with the connecting rod. Also, something to note is there's lots of different colour schemes in the Christmas versions, which there's not a lot of difference to them, but there's lots of variants. Like sometimes these are silver, the wheels have got different colour schemes, the crank rods here might be painted, they have different stickers and whatnot. But as far as operation, on top of the dome here there's this button, and it's pretty smart. So you push it once and it goes forward, push it again, it stops, push it a third time, it goes in reverse, and it continues that cycle, so you can go forwards and backwards, which adds a bit of fun when the kids are playing with it. The bell is how you turn the sound on and off, and we're not able to because the tender's not connected, but basically you turn this, it activates a switch inside the boiler there, which turns the sound on and off, and you can run it with the sound going, or have the sound on and not run it if you just want a bit of background noise hidden around the Christmas tree. So on to the other model that's available, which is made, I'm not sure exactly who it's made by. I think it might be eztec or another manufacturer. It looks largely the same, but the cab is filled completely, and you lift the roof off and insert 4 C batteries directly into the locomotive, which is a good thing. It adds quite a lot of weight, so there's a lot more adhesion, and it can probably pull more, but you get less voltage, so 6 volts from those 4, whereas the tender powered locomotive would be 9 volts, so it'd go a bit faster, have a bit more pulling power. As far as actual operation, there's lots of YouTube content about them running around Christmas trees and with different carriages hooked on, and they perform pretty admirably. You know, easily be able to tow 10 or more carriages, and at a realistic speed as well. Sometimes these toy grade trains are too fast, but yeah, the operation is pretty well spot on. But the magic of building your model railway using these toy grade locomotives and rolling stock is there's a lot of them available, and you could just paint it yourself of whatever colour scheme you wanted. We're going to do a bunch of modifications to this one, and we'll do another video detailing what we're going to do and the process we're going to go through doing that. But there's lots of them available. They don't cost very much, so there's not a big investment first up. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the just a detailed overview of these toy grade train sets, specifically this locomotive today, the Scientific Toys, the early model. And yeah, follow along on the channel for some more content and some cheap G-scale action. Thanks for watching.